What is it that all these images have in common? Can you see it? You may or may not agree, but I think that these photos by some of the masters of street photography are all quite funny. They're surprising and fun and make you feel something. So what's the most powerful emotion to harness in your street photography? Well, in my opinion, it's humour. Fun, funny, witty and strange moments of life. Humour and strangeness and things out of the ordinary make for captivating photos, but it can be pretty hard to notice those moments, let alone get them on your camera. So after studying hundreds of funny candid photographs, in this video I'm going to show you the importance of humour and lightheartedness in your work, as well as how to find and capture really powerful street photographs, harnessing our love for all the funny things in life. Humour is deeply ingrained in us humans, and as we know, it's a very important emotion. If your friend called you up regularly just to moan or complain or be miserable, you probably wouldn't be friends with them very long. We all need humour in our lives. Funny stories, television shows, books, art, and of course, photographs. In times of trouble and sadness, what is it that often keeps you going? It's of course your sense of humour. Now, I'm no scientist, so I couldn't begin to explain the science behind humour and why we evolved to appreciate it. But I know it's what I love to see in a street photograph because it surprises me, and I know how tricky it can be to capture an original moment that isn't cliché, but that can still raise a laugh or a second of wonder. When humour is this important to us in our daily lives, how could we not try and capture those funny, light-hearted moments that make us chuckle? So how do we capture those funny moments on the street well? And what kind of moments can you look out for that will make for incredible images? In the excellent street photography documentary Everybody Street, Jeff Mermelstein said, "Some people think my pictures are funny. I didn't realise that, and it makes me excited. It's hard to be funny." And I couldn't agree more with this. Making funny photographs is hard, but that's what makes them so rewarding. Not only to capture, but for viewers to appreciate as well. If you're not familiar with Jeff Mermelstein's work, then definitely check out his photography. He's got such a great eye for funny moments and seems to have this wonderful knack of capturing them without any trace of cliché. Another famous street photographer that had such a great sensibility for funny moments is Elliot Erwitt. Famous for capturing those lovely, irreverent moments, juxtapositions, expressions, and of course animals with humans. And then there's the always iconic Joel Meyerowitz's street work, which often shows these wonderful street tableaus laced with humour. I recently picked up the book Mostly False Reports by Stephen Leslie. A lot of his photographs are witty, funny and unusual moments. Clearly he has a very keen observational eye for these kinds of funny moments and must spend a lot of time out there in the world making photographs. Capturing humorous moments isn't easy, but there are a few things to look out for on the street that will give you the best opportunity to get them on your camera. If you focus on going for a photo walk looking for one or two of these things, then you'll greatly increase the chance of noticing and then capturing those great witty moments. Facial expressions, things out of the ordinary, juxtapositions, surreal situations, bizarreness, lovers doing something strange, animals and humans together, events and street performers, things shown out of context. These are just a few of the things you can look for when you're out to try and see more humorous moments to capture. You don't need to put pressure on yourself though to capture like really hilarious moments. Just start looking for little details, little moments like matching gestures, juxtapositions, facial expressions, matching colours, just little things like that that will really start to add more fun and wit to your images. How much more enjoyable is it to see an image where you can't explain what's going on? You have questions about the photo. It shows something compelling, but it isn't just a photo of this thing happening. If you can make photos that incorporate things like that, then you're going to make amazing work. But what actually makes for a funny photograph? As we've covered already, humorous images are hard to make, not just because really funny scenes or strange moments are rare, but also because everyone has their own sense of humour. What one person might find funny, another won't find the least bit interesting. That's what keeps life, comedy and humour exciting though, because if we all found the same things funny or exciting, then the world would be a pretty boring place. It's also very unlikely anyone's going to make a laugh out loud photograph. So for the context of funny street photography, what I mean is images that make you smile or chuckle to yourself a bit, or that make you feel a little moment of delight. You know when you've seen a fun image because it usually makes you happy. For example, this photograph which I took last year, shown out of context, it looks a little bit like this person dressed as an elephant is getting arrested. Of course that's not true, but the image alludes to that. It's out of the ordinary, a bit of fun, and definitely the kind of photography I'm looking to make more of in the future. You may or may not agree with me, but that's the beauty of having different artistic opinions. It keeps things interesting and engaging. Ultimately, it's not for you to decide how people will feel about your images anyway. All we can do is find situations we find funny or witty or odd and then capture them. But when we're looking for humour in our photos, we need to make sure we approach situations with sensitivity. So that's where the next part of the video comes in. It can be easy while in the pursuit of making amusing street photographs to fall back on cliches. For example, a kid on their parents' shoulders pulling a funny face. Fun, but is it funny? Maybe not unless it's a really good example of a funny face, or there's other elements in play like the reactions of strangers or the surroundings or composition, etc. But cliches are always a good place to start. Get comfortable and confident shooting the funny images that might be a bit cliche, then you'll find more original scenes over time. The more you practice, the more you notice. No one likes being made fun of though, so in my opinion you should approach your street photography with sensitivity. You want to capture funny, fun and light-hearted moments, but you don't want to ridicule people. It's important when out on the street to remember though that we're out here to document life, so if you find something instinctively interesting, then be sure to capture it. But it always pays to think really hard about the work before sharing it with the world if the content could be seen as a little bit sensitive. Now there's one thing you really need to do when you want to capture funny moments on the street, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Finding fun, humorous moments is now right at the top of my list when I go out on a street photography walk. But it's only something that I've become recently interested in, so I know that I've got quite a lot of work to do to improve my own way of capturing amusing scenes. I know it's really important to be patient, and then going out regularly will always give you the best chance to get humorous photos in the long run. And if nothing else, it will improve your observational skills, which is vital as a photographer. If you're having fun out on the street and you approach the world with a positive, good-humoured outlook, you'll start to notice more funny moments to capture with your camera. And with that mindset, you'll start to collect more humorous photos over time. Not only that, but you'll have a more positive experience each time you go out with your camera if you try to take the world and yourself a little bit less seriously. Sure, we all want to get better at our craft and put pressure on ourselves sometimes to improve, but a little lightheartedness really does go a long way. Next time you're out with your camera, really observe the streets for those little moments of humour, or whimsy, oddness, anything a little bit amusing, and try your best to capture those moments. I'm sure your work will grow because of it if you do. Of course, it's not always possible to find funny moments, and it's especially hard to do that when you've lost a little bit of inspiration, which happens to all of us sometimes. So watch this video next to give you a jolt of motivation to go out and remember your love of street photography.